Okay, running through the first powers here, and we're still in the first turn. It's taking me forever to get through this on video. I'm not going to go in this much detail for later turns, but the Ottomans, and this much complaining hopefully, the Ottomans went to the Barbary Coast for piracy, and they got no effect really from it. The Spaniards played God knows what. A card? I don't know where it went. Well, I don't know. They did something. They played a card. I can't find it. Again, probably lost. It might be this Irish Rebellion. It might not. I probably lost it. So, oh, they played Selim II. Ooh, maybe it was something like that. They played Selim II. Mandatory event. They have to get this out of their hand in the turn. And it replaces... We no longer have Suleiman in play. We've got a different leader who saves 2 cards, gets a 1-card bonus, but no longer has that advantage of two home power cards. So now the Turks are going to have to start choosing their home power each turn. And he used his 2 points. I don't remember what he used them for. Oh yeah, to build a fortress down here. And then he used his treasure. I keep forgetting to use it to extend and move capturing Cognac and laying siege to La Rochelle. This is a good time to do it because France is out of cards. England, Hawkins continued and did some piracy up here in the Antilles. He used the Virgin Queen card. I don't know if I used all the points from it because I can't remember what I'm doing in this game when I'm videoing it. Let's see, he moved, he pirated, that's 3. I think they've got 2 more points that I haven't covered yet. And I ought to figure something out to do with those. Don't know what. And then on to the other powers. Before I forget whatever my train of thought is, because that's really the problem here is I keep losing it. He's got 2 treasures now. He had a successful, another one. And the Spaniards gave him a treasure again, which... they were able to actually protect their valuable one, which was one of the reasons they picked this, because they got a fortress there. Anyway, if he returned home now, these 2 treasures would be in this turn's pile. England only has 1 card, which they probably actually want to hold. So, he's going to hold off, and he's going to return at the end of the turn. That'll give England 2 treasures for next turn, which will be very good for them. I got to figure out those 2 points, though. And we finish things off with first the Holy Roman Empire grabbing itself a mercenary point. I don't remember what the English did with their other point. Maybe I told you, maybe I didn't. Probably I didn't. They had an extra couple points. Damned if I know what they did with it. Oh, no, they didn't do that. Hard to remember. Ah, yes. They bought themselves D. He gives +3 to the table. That's pretty good. With 2 dice, though, I don't know, that's not very valuable. You kind of want more pluses. But I didn't have the points to do more. I kind of like, do I want to build a navy? Well, I can build the race-built galleons otherwise. I don't know. Anyway. I'm probably wasting D for this, and he'll become an astrologer, which is as it should be. And then for the Dutch, they went a pirating too, here into the Spanish Main, and I forgot to put this in the wrong place. And they got a success. You can get more than 1. Spain granted them a victory point. Rather than give up more of their treasure. Alright, we're getting towards the bottom of this turn now. Well, gosh, there's a screw-up. I didn't notice the setup for this. I have Spain and the Ottomans and France and England at war, actually. That's their starting position in the starting scenario, and those can't even be undone. I forgot completely about that. In part because I read the stupid scenario book, which, the extended example of play starts with the tournament scenario. Turn 3, nobody's at war. Well, I guess I don't need to spend my special power card to declare war on Spain, which I was planning on. I can just march right in and do stuff. Great. Okay, so my judgment here is after thinking about it and trying to say, hey, should I just can this game now? I'm going to keep playing it because, you know, no matter what, my first play is going to have a lot of issues with it. I know I'm going to give you guys a crappy video setup for this one. Whether or not I can get another one out afterwards, there's a good chance. I really loved Here I Stand enough that I played it a couple of times right away afterwards. The problem now is, of course, I've just got so many damn games I gotta play. And I'm beginning to really feel oppressed by the need to push things out and everything. So maybe it's time to just say the hell with it and, you know, actually explore one to the degree that I'd like to, rather than feel like I have to get on to the next game all the time. Alright. This is something I don't remember. I get to this in a moment, but with the other games is this guy barely stands on here. I don't remember this being quite as wobbly as before. Maybe I'm just really cranky this time, but I don't know. Anyway, with the Ottomans, walked across, grabbed this, that. I'm going to do a siege here. Well, the Spanish siege was successful, and they also moved some of their navies about, basically trying to get into Naples to prevent a possible capture of that. With troops there, it's much harder to capture things. They managed to capture La Rochelle because there were no troops there, which means they give full dice, you know, 1 per unit plus 1 for the leader, and the French only got 1 die coming back. If you look at the assault table, they get 1 per unit, 1 for the leader and 1 for the defender. They just got the 1 as the defender. The big thing is when there's troops there, you're halved as the attacker. You only get half as many dice as you would get for normal units. After that, France didn't have anything, and not that they would go next. This stupid setup that I've got for myself is a problem. England has chosen to pass, as have the Protestants. The Holy Roman Empire played their card, and let's see if this is broken like everything else in my life. They played one of their nice little home cards. That's the patron of the arts that allowed them to drop a scientist from Italy of their picking at the 3 CP level, and gave them additional cards. So they're still in there. They've still got 2 cards. They can't pass yet. All right. Well, let's keep going. We're going to see if the Ottomans can take anything more from Spain. Well, Naples fell. The big Ottoman Vizier card was used. That's 5 points of operations. That was used in order to pull a couple of the troops here, 4 guys from here across the sea into Toronto again, and then into here. That's 3 movements so far, and then the assault, which succeeded immediately, took 1 loss for the Ottomans. Now they had 1 more point. They moved their navy into place here with the thought of a possibility of maybe an engagement here and an attempt to get up into Genoa. But I don't know if that's going to happen. The Spanish ended up passing with their card, got around. Everybody else passed except the Germans, who tried some piracy. That did not work well for their leader. And then, well, we went. They also built a mercenary. Again, what do you use a point for, right? They could have used it perhaps here. It looks like they're allowed to do diplomacy on Ireland, even though there's no Irish troops, but there are a couple Irish spaces, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, from thence, come back to the Ottomans, and they don't really want to spend their last card. They want to hold it. It's a good card, point-wise, and they want more power at the end of this turn. So, where do we go after this? Well, we go to the inappropriately named winter phase, and I'll take care of that in a moment. Okay, and the winter phase is a lot of bookkeeping. Beyond the Morisco unrest, which didn't happen because there's nothing there. Any treasures that anybody had would go back in the cup. That didn't happen. Just we saw the Portuguese get swept up in there. Low naval units, leaders and units return to fortified spaces. So first of all the fleets go back, and in this case, that's important because the English, for example, and the Dutch came back with their treasures. Now, the English could have landed at their colony in order to maybe pursue a circumnavigation type attempt. I don't want to do that with Hawkins. Even though he's a good navigator, I don't want to lose him. He's too important in this game. Now, the Germans got theirs back as well, and the Dutch got theirs, along with a treasure. And in addition, all the fleets went back. So you see the Turkish fleets are here. The Spaniards went up to Genoa. No one else was really sailing around. The armies also went back, and in this case, for example, Duke of Alva could keep his 4 units there, but the Sultan had to send most of his units back. He's only allowed to keep 4 in a key or a fortress of any kind, really. So most of his troops are back in Istanbul now, which kind of makes things difficult. You really have to launch your campaign again and again each turn. I'm not sure what that really represents. It's kind of like in God Kings, where, you know, the seasonal interplay of yearly turns makes sense to have that return. It feels a lot different when you're talking about multi-year turns. And honestly, I have the same problem with Europa Universalis, although it's much more significant here because you're more likely to be deep in strange territory. Germans also had to return back, and they took their entire force, more or less. They just left a garrison back here. Less worried about Germany and more interested in getting that master of Central Europe by grabbing Budapest, or maybe and Belgrade perhaps, just being able to push into the Turkish territory. They're looking at that as an attractive thing. Had they known that Turkey was at war, they might have joined into that war right away. Of course, Turkey and Spain can come to some sort of peace. I don't know how likely Turkey's willing to be on that if they don't get Naples out of it. But on the other hand, the French position is kind of frightening to them. Okay. What else beyond that? We had the diplomacy reset, and I was correct about that in my assumption, which is that it's only the guys in the gray boxes who get reset. Everyone else, you get to keep your diplomacy until you actually roll a die where it is affected by that. All right, well, now we're on to the marriage resolution, and it's time for some points to happen. First of all, we resolve marriages, but at the same time as we do that, I'm going to grab a Virgin Queen victory point and mark that for England because I don't want to forget about it. But let's look at what some of these marriages are. First of all, we have Elizabeth Valois and Charles of Austria with a +2 to their die roll from the wedding festivities. This is going to give a Valois marriage bonus if it goes through, I believe. Let's see what we get here. So we've got +4 +6 total. That's a 13. Several children. No, they don't really like each other. No, they don't bring peace to their lands, but several new royal heirs are born, so it's not a... Each power is going to get a wedding victory point. I got to find if there's specific victory points for weddings. Yeah, there are. So that was who? Austria and France each got one of those. Well, not Austria per se, but... And they each go up 1 in victory points. And it's kind of scary. Like, you know, that 25 isn't looking too far away if you could generate points this easily, right? I don't know. There's also not a lot of turns. On top of that, we get a Valois bonus victory point. I don't know where the hell that is. Is it in with these Paris ones? Damn. Alright, well, I'll look to see if I can find that somewhere. Ah, I see it. She's got her own little space here, and that point is scored. I don't know what to do with Chucky. I guess I'll put him over here for now. I don't think he really affects anything. And these cards, I guess, are kind of out of the game at this point. They don't do much. And yeah, this is really fun seeing me walk around, I know. I love it. But, you know, I don't have a lot of space to organize things. And now we have I guess that's it, right? We have another one, Anne of Saxony and the Earl of Arran. Oh, let's see if there was a special effect for Charles. -1 on next turn to England or Protestant if their royal marries him. No, that wasn't the case. Okay. Got to make sure I understand everything that's going on here, right? All right. So I'm just at +2 here. I don't know when her effect takes place. But +2 is an 11, no issue. The couple struggles through miscarriages and birth of sickly children who nothing happens. There's no effect. Well, but they have an effect here. After marriage, Protestant immediately resolves a preach sermon action in Scotland. Ooh. Well, we got to look that up. Preach sermon is going to be in the religious thing. I think this is a single conversion action, but I don't know. Because they've become such a minor thing that doing the religious stuff is much, much more limited here than it was. So preach sermon, 5 Catholic conversion attempts. No, this is going to be Protestant, but still, right? It results in 5 Catholic conversion attempts that's of Spain. 2 CPs. If Spain or the Protestant, if the Protestant undertakes 5 Protestant conversion attempts in France, Netherlands, or Scotland. Now here's the thing. Scotland doesn't have a lot of Catholic areas. It doesn't have a lot of areas to begin with. But we're going to roll that up, and I'll be back in a minute. Well, the dice weren't great. 2 1s and a 5. The 5 ends up converting something, and I'll take sterling, and I get a bonus unrest marker there if I can find one of them. No, they're hidden under these fleets. Hard to find that way for me. Okay. Anyway, that's one effect of that. And Anne of Saxony gives the husband's power a +1 card. And of course, they gave little markers for this. And that'll go in his draw ability or something. I'll try to remember that he got that. Now, I guess they're gone too. Anne of Saxony and the Earl of Arran. And we get rid of the cards and we do some more annoying walking. Yeah. But when I'm showing everything, well, I don't want to keep stopping the camera, no matter how annoying it is to you all. Alright, now let's see. We got more to do in these marriages. We gave the victory point, but now we got to age royals. And the Earl of Leicester, well, his special ability that I happen to remember luckily, otherwise I'd just discard him and not look, is that as long as Elizabeth is around, he's around. Good thing I remembered that because, yes, he would otherwise just be discarded without me looking. But that's kind of big. He stays in the pool every turn. So I've got to look up every single card because of things like that, right? I don't know. I don't remember any others being that way. William of Orange is weird, but he's got to get married for it to happen. Everyone else drops down one. Oh, no, they don't. Okay. So for males, Don Carlos, he drops. William of Orange stays. Philip drops. And Elizabeth drops. Okay. Now we go to the patronage, evaluate artists and evaluate scientists. Hey, great. Okay, let's do that. We have a few here. So first we have this Palladio, who's got a +1 plus his 3, gives him +4 to the die roll. He gets 2 dice. That's not a lot. 8, 4 is 12 wide. Acclaim, gain a victory point award. Well, let's give him 1. He gets a generic one. I don't know what this is, but we just gave this to the Germans, and he goes away. So they get, and I should be trying to pick the correct ones, but you know what? I'm pretty irritated at this point by all this having to walk around. And we'll throw him in the cup. All right. And let's see about another one. And yes, if I had a better table set up and if I didn't have a camera in my hand, I'd be enjoying this a great deal more. Let's look at another German here. This one's a +3 scientist. 13. That sounds good. Scientific Epiphany, gain a victory point and a bonus, or gain a 2-point victory point award. Well, I don't know. It's time to look up all the bonuses and see if there was one I wanted. And that's not in this book. Let's look for another book. Maybe it's in this book. Science bonuses. Is there anything here that Germany might want? I don't know. I'm going to read it on my own and come back. Well, because he's an Italian scientist and not a German one, and even though the Germans have advantages on the Italian scientists, I'm going to actually take the 2 victory points instead of the observation, which was my other option. The other thing that I really wanted, the observatory. So I get 2 more victory points here. This is where I think Germany excels, is being able to crank these points out. Now, taking the observatory and 1 victory point would have helped my sciences later in general and would have put him back in the pool. But yeah, 2 victory points is nice, and I think I like that. And maybe I can get the catalyst for scientific revolution just by bonus anyway. I don't know. We'll see. Definitely have some questions on which one was best. And now we got poor old John D, who's a +3 scientist, but without any additional bonuses. And we get an 11 on D, which is groundbreaking. He gets a victory point award or a bonus. Now, the English are going to take that observatory. They want that sucker badly. And I'm not sure what the order was here. They may have had the first pick anyway. I have to look that up. But they picked this up, the observatory, and they've got to figure out somewhere where they want to put it. I'm not sure where they get it. And what else? Okay, they don't get a victory point, but they get D back in their scientists. So, because that's one of the advantages of the observatory, not only do you get a +2 to all science rolls, but you're able to return him and do more with him. Now, I don't know what the order of these is, and I'll have to put this here so I can look at my rule book and try to flip through it, which is not easy. So when you actually evaluate, what's the order? Highest rated printed on his counter to lowest rating. Okay, so I believe D would have rolled first and gotten that option anyhow, which is good because otherwise the Germans would be cursing themselves. They really should not have not taken that option had they had that choice. Okay. Yeah, even with the air conditioning, it's hot in here. Okay. Now, let's see. Victory determination. We give victory point awards for Paris and Central Europe. Well, we got to find the Paris turn 1 card. That's here. And, yep, just tons of these little counters. France gets another victory point. And Germany does not have the mastery of Europe. They would like to get that. Beyond that, I don't know what to do. I guess we're moving on to another turn. And we'll go here. And the Turks get their fleet back that they can build. Alright, I'm going to load this one up, flawed as it is, and hopefully spend a lot less time videoing the next one. I want to get them down to 1 video for a complete turn no matter what. Anyway, cheers.